Hey, welcome into You Heard with Nerds. This is our deep dive for our look at what's coming out in 2020. I'm Brett.
I'm Dorian.
And this is You Heard with Nerds. All right, so with that being said, we're going to look at a couple different categories, most of which we already talked about on our normal weekly show for our podcast. So we're looking at games, across the board. So that's Nintendo, PlayStation, Xbox. We're looking at movies, looking at TV, and looking at actually a couple of books that I threw on there that stood out to me. It could probably be a lot longer, but those are like the two that I want to really talk about. And so starting off with games, okay? So we just kind of picked what we thought would be either the most popular or the most interesting, or maybe the least popular games and movies, TV shows, what have you, coming out. So we're going to get started with Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. This is coming out January 17th.
Yep, so literally a couple weeks away.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, so I'm not a big Dragon Ball Z guy, so it's a pass for me. I mean, I know the characters, I know,
Sure.
Stuff, but I'm just not a big fan. But you, on the other hand,
Love Dragon Ball. Love the whole series.
Mm-hmm.
I've played most of the games, I feel like. I grew up. We had PlayStation 2, and we played all the Dragon Ball Z Budokai games.
Yeah, those are fighting games, right?
Yeah, they're fighting games.
Yeah.
And I've also played the new Dragon Ball Fighters, as well as they have like a card game thing on Switch, and yeah, I think this is going to be really good. It's the first, I think, really Dragon Ball game that's probably going to be good. That's a story-driven game. Now, I don't know how this is going to span, but I'm going to definitely touch on it. Now, probably going to be a discount game for me. I'm not going to pay full price for this.
Right.
But really excited for it. Final Fantasy VII Remake. This is a fan favorite for a lot.
Yeah, no, there's quite a bit of people out there that consider this the best Final Fantasy game, and some even go as far as to say it's the best RPG ever made here.
Yeah.
So
It's coming out right after my birthday. It's March 3rd.
Yep.
My birthday's the 2nd, so any of you listening who want to get that for me,
Yeah.
feel free.
Yeah. So what I've seen so far, pretty impressed. I mean, I think this obviously, looks great. Looks like it plays great as well here. I mean, they've kind of redone the combat system here, so it's more real time.
It's a new game almost.
It pretty much is. It's like kind of in the same vein as Resident Evil 2, where like the gameplay is completely revamped. It's not, as far as I can tell, it's no longer turn-based, and it might have some turn-based elements to it, but it's more real-time focused. And I mean, I really think this is I think this is one that's definitely needed for this game, just because I tried playing Final Fantasy VII for the first time like a couple years back, and that was probably, I don't know, I want to say like 2010 or 2009 or something like that.
Yeah.
But basically
Didn't age well?
Didn't age too well in my opinion.
Okay.
There. So it was hard for me, who didn't grow up with it, to get into it, let's just say. So
Okay.
So I'm interested in, actually playing this and see how it fares and whatnot. And yeah, the one thing that I still don't understand is, because this game is being split up into multiple parts. So
They're releasing it in chunks?
Right. Well, yeah, because basically, so this version of the game that we're going to get on March 3rd, this is like focusing, I think, like I'd have to, relook this up. But I think it's like about a third or a half of the original game. But there's like, but there's like enough stuff in there to like actually like make it feel like a full, $60 game here. So
Interesting.
So the question is like, when does the next part come out? And Square's been kind of hush hush, or really hasn't been too forthcoming with the details on that. So, yeah,
We'll have to stay tuned, I guess. Animal Crossing's New Horizon.
Yep.
What do you think?
So I played the Animal Crossing games when I was a kid, and I really liked them. I really got into them. I thought they were fun. They were great, just because it's honestly, it's a game that's playing even when you're not playing here. Like it has like, a 365-day calendar.
Okay.
So basically, you can go into your town and do like completely new things and stuff like that. Like there's always something to do there. So yeah, I mean it's a very laid back,
casual game.
Game. Yeah, it's something like it's kind of one of those games like you're listening to a podcast and you want to just like play a game for a little bit, or you have a TV show in the background. I mean that's the kind of game that this is kind of.
Okay.
I probably won't touch on it just because I just have games that are I'm more interested in and like actually playing, and like I got quite a back catalog of stuff I still need to play. So
same here, and I kind of wrote down, I'm like, can I get addicted to this game? Probably,
yeah.
And so I don't know if I'll get it. Probably won't unless it goes like it's a deal, and just to have it to play later.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's about it, I think, for me.
Yeah.
Resident Evil 3 remake.
Yeah. So if you guys have been listening to like our weekly show or some of our previous episodes, you probably heard that I pretty much got into Resident Evil for like the first time last year. Played number 4, played the 2 remake. So I'm actually interested in this one. I might take a look at it and see what it's all about. I mean, obviously they did an absolute banger job with number 2, so we'll see if this lives up to it. Hopefully 4 is the next one on the list.
Sweet. Cyberpunk 2077. We're both pretty interested in this one.
Yeah. I mean, it's got Keanu.
Yeah. It's what's the release date for John Wick and
that's it's like May.
Oh, it's May. Okay. I was like, as if this is around the same date.
Well,
that's crazy.
But that's also next year too.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I mean, no, it's developed by CD Projekt Red, which is the same guys who brought us the Witcher games. Yeah. Yep. So far, definitely looks interesting from the gameplay I've seen. It definitely seems like they are essentially just kind of continuing with these big open worlds, dense with like details, stuff to do, lore, and just kind of like a little bit of freedom of like being able to play how you want to play. So yeah, I mean it's definitely got a lot of hype around it. I'm really interested to see how it shakes out. I mean, I think it'll be pretty interesting here, and I really like The Witcher 3, so we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, same here. After playing The Witcher, I think they can do a pretty good job with it.
Yeah.
I think it'll live up to the hype, or it could be the biggest flop in recent history for gaming.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Marvel's Avengers game coming out May 15th.
Yeah. So this one,
I personally need to see more from this game.
I do need to see a little bit more. I mean, here's the thing. Like when they first showed it off at E3 last year, I was like, okay, this actually looks dope here. You got like, a pretty interesting storyline. You got, the main cast that you need. You got.
Well, speaking of the cast, I just remember how angry people were that they didn't look like the characters from the movies.
Yeah. I mean, that's just, I mean, it's definitely jarring, especially considering how
we're used to those people playing.
We're used to those people, but it's like, you gotta look at like, this is like, this isn't like supposed to be a direct MCU adaptation here.
No. Yeah.
And so it definitely kind of gives you that somewhat uncanny valley thing, because you're like, okay, this should be looking like Chris Evans, and this should be looking like, Robert Downey Jr. Yep, exactly. Yeah. So I'm kind of taking a wait and see approach on this one. I mean, because there's stuff that I've seen on this game that does make me excited and interested, and then there's stuff that kind of makes me cautious. I mean, I think like some of the gameplay that I've seen kind of seems like it's very, very shallow and not like a whole lot of like depth to it.
Right.
But it's hard to say. I mean, I'm willing to like at least keep my eye on it and see whether or not it's going to be something that I end up picking up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same here. I mean, I probably won't, but I just need to see more, I think. Mm-hmm. Maybe there's like a customization and kind of play the way you want to play, pick your character type of thing, changes the story.
Yeah.
Last of Us Part 2.
Yeah, so you haven't played The Last of Us, have you? So I played The Last of Us.
I played a little bit, I think, at your house. I don't know. Or maybe I played a demo. I don't remember.
Yeah. Anyhow. But, so I'm probably going to get crucified for this, but
Yeah.
I think Last of Us, the first one, kind of overrated.
Okay.
Just because, I don't know. I feel like it is like a pretty, like a lot of people praise it for the story. And I feel like the story we've already seen before in other media.
Okay.
Now, granted, like, yeah, if you're just going solely based off of video game standards, it is definitely, higher up there,
Yeah.
But, yeah, so, I mean, I still will probably take a look at it just for the sake of being a part of the conversation. And,
Sure.
yeah, go
Cool.
from there.
Dying Light 2. Okay, so I heard good things about the first one.
Yeah, so...
Did not play it, though.
Oh, you didn't play it? Okay.
No.
So Dying Light was one of those games where the first one, it came out when there was like kind of a dry season of games to play on next gen. And Dying Light was absolutely awesome just because, for one, it's zombies with parkour. So you can parkour around like this big open city, do stuff, and you can also do co-op on there. So you can have like a buddy come in. You guys can like just go in, like fight some like, bad humans, fight some zombies, get some gear, and like, keep upgrading stuff and all that. It was a good time.
Okay,
And
cool.
so, I mean, if they're given...
Is there like a story with it?
yeah, no, there's a
Okay,
story. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So, I mean, so if they give us more of that, and if I can get like, a couple of buddies to like, pop on this with me, I think, yeah, I mean, I probably will end up picking it up.
Cool.
So, yeah.
Nice. Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah. So far, my most anticipated game of the year.
Okay.
I mean...
What do you, like, why?
I mean, it's I'm really hoping this game is essentially what Red Dead Redemption was for like essentially like the cowboy genre of video games, like giving you like this big open world that you can run around, play with, and also like pretty much do everything you've seen in a Western movie and like be able to do that. I'm hoping this is like kind of the same thing for like essentially like feudal Japan samurai stuff here, where you can just go around, do a bunch of stuff that you would see like in like those movies, shows, or what have you, and just like the stuff that was for that time frame. Plus, I'm a sucker for stuff that's feudal Japan. So yeah. So no, I'm definitely looking forward to it. Plus, it's made by Sucker Punch, who did the Infamous games. So they actually,
Oh yeah, those games were good.
yeah. So I mean, so they definitely got pedigree on them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and for me, I feel like it was teased so long ago. I mean, I think it was only a year ago at E3, I want to say.
Yeah, roughly.
It looks beautiful.
Oh, absolutely beautiful.
I don't know if I'll buy it, though, just because, again, I have to see more, I think, about it. I like everything we're talking about. I like the feudal Japan. I like the gameplay they've given us. So I'll just have to see, I think, as far as if it's going to be enough for me to purchase it.
Well, and the thing is like when it comes to like, whether or not to pop on like, a game that's like an open world game that you can play for hours on end, it's like...
Is it going to be open world, though?
As far as we can tell, it does seem that way
Okay.
because, I mean, at least in the demo, he's like riding across like these big open fields and stuff.
It kind of reminded me of like Witcher almost,
Yeah.
riding around on your horse.
Yeah. So I mean, I think... I mean, that's just kind of the thing. Is like whenever it's like an open world game nowadays, it's like you really kind of have to pick and choose here, just because it's like
There's so many of them.
well, there's so many, and there's such a time sink, and it's like you have to literally neglect like other things going on.
Yeah.
Like if like let's say there's, and not just like life stuff, but like say hey, there's might be another game coming out. There might be these movies, these TV shows.
You got to
this
pick
book.
and choose. your
Exactly.
entertainment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
For sure. All right. Digimon Survive. Yeah. I put this one on the list.
Yep, you sure did.
It's my most anticipated of 2020.
Yeah.
I'm a huge Digimon fan, a huge RTS fan. So I think this could this could be really interesting. They haven't done a game like this in a long time.
Have they done
Yeah, I think Digimon World 3, I think, was kind of RTS-y in how you moved. Like you moved on a grid.
Okay.
I can't remember exactly, but basically this game, like, it looks gorgeous. Like the animation of it, it's cartoony, obviously, but it looks really solid. And like it's an RTS. And the Digimon games they have been putting out, I haven't played any of the story games that they've been putting out, but I have played them in the past, and I've heard really good things about the new ones. So if you're a Digimon, fan, this looks like it's going to be a banger.
So now what is the track record for Digimon games? Are they by and large pretty good, or
I would say they're good-ish. Like
good-ish.
Yeah,
okay.
like they're not like the most crazy of games, but
they're not going to be industry standards.
No.
Okay, fair enough.
Like if you're a fan of the series, you probably like them. But
fair enough.
Halo Infinite.
Yeah, so I've never owned an Xbox, so I'm not a Halo guy. I've played it at buddy's house, friend's house, before.
Yeah.
But other than that, yeah, I mean, I don't have any, attachment to like Master Chief and what's going on with his story here.
I don't anymore. I used to play Halo a lot.
Yeah.
Like Halo 2, I played a lot. Halo 3, Halo Reach, I played.
Mm-hmm.
After, I didn't play Halo 4 hardly at all.
Yeah.
Like, hardly at all.
You did get into Halo 5 for a little bit, didn't you?
I don't even know if I own Halo 5.
Oh, okay.
Is this Halo 5?
No. This is...
There's another... Oh, yeah, I guess I did play 4 and 5. Maybe I
Yeah.
didn't get into 5. I don't remember.
Yeah, but... No, I think
I
this
lost count. That's how big of a
I think
fan
this
I am.
one is technically going to be 6.
Okay.
That's coming out, but
Well, I'm not going to get it because I don't have an Xbox. So,
Series X.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, with that said, we're going to be taking a look at kind of the next generation of gaming.
Mm-hmm.
First up, obviously Nintendo's not going to be releasing a new system per se, but what does Nintendo plan for 2020?
Mm-hmm.
What do we think there will be?
So there's been a lot of rumors on a Switch Pro. And,
yeah.
And especially last year, there was a lot of talk of the Switch Pro being released, and it was supposed to be released last year along with like the Switch Lite.
Yeah.
I think we haven't heard too much new on that, but I think it might be a 50-50 chance that will happen because Nintendo has said that they want to keep the Switch brand or the Switch console alive for 10 years. So, I mean...
They got a couple more left.
Yeah, because they are
7 years left or 8 years or 6 years.
In March, they will have hit year 3. Okay. So, that being said, they will have to upgrade the hardware if they are going to stay competitive. Just because with this next generation, I don't think they will be able to do like those ports like The Witcher or
they won't be able
Doom
to.
or like all those other things here. So, yeah, I think they will have to upgrade. And I think like if they did do it like, this fall, that way they have like a way to kind of stay in the conversation when PlayStation and Xbox are, launching their new consoles and all that.
Yeah, I think that maybe not this year, but in a couple years, maybe a year or two, like halfway through the life cycle of Switch, we get an upgraded version is potential, especially it'll give time for the Xbox Series X or whatever it's going to be called, and the PlayStation 5 to put out like titles for them to port over to the PlayStation or the Nintendo Switch Pro or whatever they're going to call it.
Right, yeah.
Because you still have to be able to hit the people who don't have it, and so I don't know how you would do that. Like as far as the game goes, like are they gonna be different cartridges?
Yeah,
that you can swap. You could still play maybe the old ones on the Switch Pro. Like I don't know how they'll kind of integrate that.
Well, I mean, Nintendo hasn't been afraid to upgrade on its hardware. I mean, we've seen it like multiple times with like their handhelds. Like you had the Game Boy Advance, the Game Boy SP. You had the DS, the DS Lite, the DSi, and the 3DS, the new 3DS.
I think like those were a little bit cheaper though than.
True, yeah, but I mean, like probably the most direct comparison we can make is like the 3DS and the new 3DS because like
that makes sense.
There was like some games that that you can only play on the new 3DS here, and then there was also games that. If you didn't play it on a new 3DS, it would like suffer greatly if you didn't. And it was pretty much designed to be played on that hardware.
Right.
Yeah.
So what do you think about like a game that we think is going to come out potentially is Breath of the Wild 2? But will that actually happen? And do they need it to come out next year?
So When you say next year, do you mean this year?
Yeah, sorry, this year, 2020.
2020. So I think, here's what I think. I think if they don't have like a Switch Pro coming out this year, they probably need to have Breath of the Wild come out this year because, I mean, everybody has a limited amount of money. And so it's like, hey, what should I buy? Should I get a Switch or should I pop on this next generation of consoles? If you have a banger game like Breath of the Wild 2, that decision becomes a lot harder here.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think there's a 40% chance that they will do it this year. I think it's more likely that they'll probably save it for 2021.
Yeah, I can see it coming out this year just because it was originally supposed to be a DLC, so they've worked on a lot of it already.
Yeah.
For like years ago.
Yeah.
And so I think it could be almost done at this point, like ready to go.
It could be. I mean, we still haven't like really seen any gameplay in action, just other than that teaser we got at E3, but that still doesn't necessarily mean anything.
No, because with how Nintendo and release schedules have been changing, they could be like, do a direct around E3 time and be like, hey, this is out next month.
Yeah, exactly.
And then people are going to lose their minds.
Oh, absolutely. Well, and not to mention too, we had like some of their most biggest games be announced and come out like within like 8 months of its release. Like Super Mario Odyssey, I think was like announced like literally like I think in the same presentation that the Switch was, and it came out like a year later or so.
Yeah.
And then Smash Bros was announced in April of 2018 in a Nintendo Direct and was released in December.
Yeah.
So I mean, no, Nintendo's having a pretty quick turnaround on like, some of their biggest titles, and definitely are able to keep the lid shut on like, leaks and stuff like that. So who knows? We might get it, we might not. We'll see.
Yeah. What else could be coming?
So right now, like the big one is Animal Crossing. Is the only thing that's been confirmed. But like we said, Nintendo probably has a couple surprises up its sleeve here, and I think they definitely have to this year if they're gonna, stay relevant and stay a part of the conversation. Otherwise, I think we could probably see some decline in Switch sales. So I think we could get a Mario Odyssey DLC.
Yep.
Probably more likely a sequel at this point because I would
Yeah.
feel like if it was DLC, they would probably already released it.
Yeah, I agree.
I think Splatoon 3 is pretty likely just because...
I think it could be, yeah. Splatoon 3 could be the next thing.
Because it's been about 3 years since Splatoon 2 came out. They stopped updating that game with Splatfest and like new content, like I want to say a couple months back or so. So
maybe that's a sign.
Well, right. I mean, that's the question. It's like, okay, so if you guys aren't working on more Splatoon DLC or like more content, what are you guys doing here?
Right. Like what are we supposed to do?
Yeah, exactly. So I think another one is Star Fox.
Yeah.
Because
we haven't got one of those in a while.
Yeah, it's
Starlink, I guess, but
well, yeah, Starlink
really.
Technically, but yeah, I think with Star Fox, because I mean we heard rumors like a couple years ago that there was going to be a Star Fox racing game that was going to be coming out, and we haven't heard anything that's been confirmed or anything about it since. So
yeah.
I think it's probably time for it to come back. So yeah, that's my thoughts on that. You got anything to add to that?
What else could be coming? Like, obviously we're going to get more DLC for Smash Bros.
Yep, we sure are. Yeah.
But I think there has to be a mainline game coming out this year in order to keep up the constant like games and schedule we're used to, where there has been a good game every year.
Yeah.
So I think it has to be Breath of the Wild, honestly. I just think it does. It's been 3 years since the last installment.
Yeah. I mean, technically they have like all the assets already ready for
Yeah.
that they can use, and the physics engine is there. So.
Yeah, I think it's going to be either Breath of the Wild. I don't think it's going to be a Mario.
You don't think it's?
I can see Splatoon 3 though and Star Fox.
Okay.
I don't think it's going to be Mario just because we got that so much later.
Yeah, potentially.
But we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
So PS5 and Series X, what are they going to bring to the table, you think?
So, well, I think obviously better graphics are always going to be the thing. We'll probably get some more quality of life improvements with the console, just like we do with each new generation here. I think the big thing is like, will Xbox make a comeback this generation? Just because I think I could be wrong on this, and it's kind of hard to say because Xbox has stopped reporting their sales numbers on like how many consoles it sold, but I think Switch has overtaken their sales numbers on Xbox One.
Sounds right.
Yeah. So I think the last projected number they were at was like about 40 million, and I think the Switch hit that last year.
Wow.
So that being said, Xbox definitely needs to do something in order to like, kind of get back into like, in the game basically, or in the race.
Right.
And so far, I think, them launching with like, a AAA first party exclusive, I think is definitely a good way to go with Halo Infinite, even though I don't have any interest in it. I think that's definitely like the people who, still play and love Xbox are going to want to do that. They just need to make sure Halo Infinite is the banger that people have been waiting for here,
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I'm still hoping Xbox fails and they bring back the Sega Dreamcast 2.
Yes.
And that we get Sega.
Yep.
Because I was a huge Sega fan growing up.
Yep.
Yeah, I think Sony will have kind of a big game. And I just don't think Xbox can make up for anything. Like I don't think that they're gonna make up for, like I think it's already kind of established, PlayStation people, Xbox people, that there's not a war like so many people think like there was right when they kind of were fighting each other as much as they were. I think it's been established for years.
Yeah, a couple
generations. If you're an Xbox player, you're an Xbox player. If you're a PlayStation player, you're a PlayStation player.
Yeah.
And your exclusive are your exclusives, and PlayStation's always going to, I think, beat out Xbox. Just because of their world presence, not necessarily their American presence.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Xbox is not big overseas.
That is true. Yeah, Japan and like I think South America and all that, they typically don't have a big presence there.
Yeah.
The thing that I'm curious about is because there was a lot of people who did switch over from Xbox 360 to PS4 from one generation to another. And
sure.
I think a lot of that had to do with the fact that Xbox charged $100 more for their console, and they said, "Oh, but it comes with Kinect here,"
Yeah, which was like a waste,
right? And nobody cared about it.
No,
and so
marketing was horrible for that system.
It was, and not to mention too, I don't really think like Xbox One's really has like any major exclusives that
Halo,
Gears. Halo and Gears. Whereas like you got Sony, you got Bloodborne, you got Horizon, you got God of War, you got Uncharted, you got Spider-Man here, you got
there's a lot.
I mean, you got quite a bit of games that are out there saying like, "Hey, you want a reason to buy our console? Here they are here,"
So yeah, I think so like what if the PlayStation is to keep up tempo, what does it need to launch with?
So I mean, I would personally love for the next God of War game to be a launch title. Like, that would probably get me to buy it. Like,
really?
Launch day here, yeah. That being said, I think probably what we could see, Uncharted, I think, is a likely candidate.
Yeah.
Well, actually, no, it probably isn't because Naughty Dog is working on The Last of Us. So
you don't think they could have two different?
I mean, I feel like, that's a tough one. I don't think so. Just because typically they just work on one game at a time, from what I understand here. But I think Horizon 2 could be a possibility. Okay. I mean,
that game was pretty fun.
Yeah, Still have yet to play it here.
Oh, really?
I own it.
Yeah,
I haven't got
I didn't
around
play
to
it much, but it was fun.
Yeah, I haven't played it yet. That's definitely one in my back catalog. I mean, it did come out the same weekend as Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
So, I think one that is probably pretty likely, just for whatever reason, I think Spider-Man 2.
Okay.
Just because Spider-Man was a really big hit on PlayStation 4, and I think it is actually like Sony's best exclusive game.
Yeah, but is there enough time, you think?
I mean, it will be like about 2 years.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Since
that's a decent amount of time.
That's a decent amount of time. So I mean, I think if like, they really like, got out ahead of this and like had already came up with like an idea and designs and stuff like that, I feel like they could probably crank it out fairly quickly. So
sweet.
Hard to say. All right, so we are going to be moving on into movies.
Yeah.
So, all right, so starting
my bread and butter.
Yep. So starting us off, we have Sonic the Hedgehog coming out.
Yes.
February 14th.
Yes.
Thoughts and opinions.
I'm gonna see it.
Yep.
Probably gonna be movie of the year.
Movie of the year.
I'm just kidding. No, it's not.
I mean, with Gangster's Paradise playing in the background.
Oh yeah. No. So for me, I was a huge Sonic fan. I grew up with a Sega.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have a Nintendo till later. I didn't have it till 64.
Mm-hmm.
Then I got a Super Nintendo later.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, I think I need to see this for nostalgia's sake. That's kind of my reason for seeing it at all.
Yeah, I mean...
And Jim Carrey's in it.
Jim Carrey, yeah.
Jean-Ralphio is voicing Sonic.
Yep. Yeah, Ben Schwartz,
Ben
right?
Schwartz.
Yeah.
No, not Ben Schwartz. Or, I'm trying to think. Yeah, Ben Schwartz, I guess is his name, huh?
Yeah.
I was trying to think.
mean,
There's so many Bens on that show, like their real names.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think his comedic chops with, Cyclops being the straight man. James,
the serious kind of guy.
Yeah, and then Jim Carrey being a silly, Dr. Robotnik.
Yeah.
It'll be a fun movie, I think.
Yeah, I mean, so obviously this movie did not make
it looked horrible to start.
Did not make a great first impression at all here. I mean, now that being said, they went back. Everything looks so much better.
Yeah, way better.
That being said, I mean, so here's the thing. So the first trailer made this movie like, regardless of like how Sonic looked, it just looked like a terrible movie, just on its own. This movie looks like it, after the rework and everything like that, it looks like it could be from like terrible, gone from bad to okay.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna be like the movie of the year.
Yeah, or like the,
or even I think it could be forgettable. But if you're a Sonic fan, I think it'll be fun.
Yeah, no, I mean I think that's kind of where I think this movie is going to land here. But
yeah,
it will be interesting to see how well this movie does, because it could potentially start a thing where, like, if a fan backlash is really prevalent on a movie or something like that.
Yeah.
That if a studio listens, goes back and changes it, depending on how successful this movie is, that might become a more standard practice in the industry.
Could be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
that's all I have for Sonic, though.
Yep.
I'm excited.
So next up, A Quiet Place 2 comes out March 20th. So we actually just got a trailer for this.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, you haven't? No. Okay. Yeah.
But I'm actually really surprised they are doing a sequel.
Yeah, I am too here, just because I felt like the first one didn't really need a sequel here, because I felt like they tied up a lot of loose ends. But they left the ending.
They left it open.
Yeah, they left it open and all that. Yeah.
But without John Krasinski, I'm kind of like, I don't know. Like,
well, I think he's still directing it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because I think he did everything for the first movie, basically. But yeah. I'm excited to see kind of where it goes. But because I thought the first one was great.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if there's not like that father figure, like, so it's going to be kind of hard. Like, okay, what are they going to do now?
Yeah.
Who else is going to die? Because obviously that'll probably happen.
Probably, yeah.
But, yeah, kind of interested to see where it goes.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. A Quiet Place, the first one, like that was actually like one of the movies I was very pleasantly surprised with when
Yeah.
it came out for that year. I thought it was like probably like one of my top three movies that came out. Like I think 2018, if I remember right.
Yeah, I think it was 2018.
Yeah. So yeah, no. So I'm interested. I mean, again, I still think this is like maybe not a movie that really needed a sequel, but I'll touch.
Yeah.
Yeah. So next up we have Mulan, live action remake from Disney, March 27th here. So I think it looks okay.
Yeah.
It's definitely going with a different tone than the original movie. I mean, it's.
Will this be like the first Disney live interpretation of a movie that's not a musical? Because Aladdin and Lion King were.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and so
they kind of have to
incorporate. So was Beauty and the Beast.
Pretty much everything they've redone.
Yeah, I would imagine so, just because it's like they look like they're definitely going for more of a war / kung fu type movie and like their tone. So if you have like all the Chinese soldiers and the Huns breaking out together in the song, it might undercut the tone that you're going for in the movie here.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
And no Moosh, like I want Mushu. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So like, is he in the movie? Is Eddie Murphy going to be voicing him? Because he's going to be animated, I'm sure.
So I was actually talking to Tim Seabrook about this a little bit. It's like, okay, so you have a lady that is like a witch and she turns into birds and stuff like that. And all that stuff. But if you're not able to include Mushu in that here, but I was kind of thinking like, because this is kind of like a predominantly Chinese cast and all that, they probably not go with like Eddie Murphy to voice Mushu. But I did think, what if they got Jackie Chan?
That could be good.
That could be interesting, wouldn't it? I mean, especially seeing how he is, he's Chinese and he also has a very comedic,
Yeah, he can be funny.
Exactly. So, yeah.
Cool.
All right. So, next up, the New Mutants, April 3rd. So,
maybe.
Yeah. So, will this movie actually come out?
I say no.
So, it's funny you say that because the director of the movie, or somebody who spoke for the movie, said like, no, it's actually coming out, and there's going to be a new trailer coming out soon for it.
Still doesn't mean anything, in my opinion. This movie is supposed to come out so long ago, and who really cares at this point? Because the mutants they have in it are fine. I like some of them. I remember some of them from comics and the TV shows they had, like X-Men Evolution. A lot of these characters were in that show.
Yeah.
I like Sunspot. I like Cannonball, Wolfsbane, all those people. But I don't know if the powers aren't at the forefront of this movie, it's going to flop hard.
Yeah, well, I mean...
And it's a horror movie.
Yeah.
I don't want to see it.
Yeah, so, I mean, no, it's... it's honestly like one of those things where it's like, because it's legitimately like taken so long for it to come out, if it does come out, it's, I think, going to be one of those things that people maybe see just out of curiosity. Is like, okay... Like, was there something in it that delayed this, or like, why would Disney like delay this even more?
I don't know, but I think just with like the other flops when it comes to the X-Men universe, like Dark Phoenix, wasn't a real big fan of it. It's flopped. I'm not really sure where they're gonna go from here because I think they lost a lot of their fan base, even with just how bad that movie was. Like, I don't even want to see this movie because I know their track record hasn't been good.
Yeah, well, this is something we'll probably talk about a little bit more in depth in our like decade in review, like, the roller coaster that was the X-Men franchise with Fox and all that. But yeah, it's kind of one of those things where it's like with Dark Phoenix and all that. I think one of the things that movie had going against it is like that movie was made with the intention of like them like continuing like a story and still like going out, and then like Disney bought them, so we all knew they were gonna go reboot everything. So I think with it's kind of like, okay, so that everything's gonna like just stop in its tracks with this movie, so like why should I really care or get invested when that probably something better is coming down the line,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really think I'll see that movie, but it's there.
Yeah, it's there. So next up is No Time to Die, the next James Bond movie coming out April 8th. So
kind of over James Bond.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. So the last one that came out, Spectre, I thought it was solid. I thought like, it was a good time. It was just like nothing amazing per se. I don't think it was like Casino Royale status because
that was good.
That was really good. Yeah. So, but I might see it. We'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's pretty much all I gotta say about it. Yeah. So next up, our first Marvel movie, like actual MCU movie, Black Widow, May 1st.
Yeah, I'll see it because my wife really wants to see it, and I mean, I like, oh gosh, I can't remember his name. Guy that plays Hopper.
Oh,
Stranger Things.
Dave Harbour.
Huh?
Dave Harbour.
Dave Harbour. Yeah, I like him enough to where I'm at least interested to see what his character is about.
Yeah.
And this will have ties to other movies and shows, I think, is what they're saying.
Yeah, they said that this is gonna you're gonna see Natasha Romanoff in a new light from like what she does in like Infinity War and
Which what does that even mean? Like,
we have no idea, to be honest with you. So it'll be interesting to see. I mean, I'm on the fence on this one in terms of like, how much I really want to see it, because I mean, it does seem like they are putting out those Winter Soldier vibes to it.
Kinda, yeah,
like,
but I don't think it's going to be as good. It could be. I mean, prove me wrong, Marvel.
Yeah, prove us wrong, but so we'll see. I mean, I'm somewhat interested in. It's not something like I really, really, really want to get out there and check it out here, to say the least. I mean, it's just, I don't know, it's just weird for them to have a Black Widow movie now.
I know. Yeah. It's if they would have done it like a while ago.
Like after like the first Avengers or something like that. That would have made so much more sense.
Yeah. But anyway.
Yeah. So moving on. Fast and the Furious 9, May 22nd.
Yeah, so I've seen up to 7, I think, or 6.
Well, you saw Hobbs and Shaw too, right?
Yeah, but that's a whole separate thing.
Okay.
It's its own. Then that was actually pretty good. It was fun. It was a lot of fun to watch that movie.
Yeah.
And my hopes for a Transformers Fast and the Furious crossover, because they're the same studio.
Oh, are they?
Yeah.
Okay.
They it kind of happened in that movie. There's like transforming bikes and stuff.
Yeah.
But my own theory is that eventually Dom and The Rock, basically, so Hobbs will be the new stars of Transformers, and it'll be in the Fast and the Furious characters in that, because I think it's the same universe.
That would be.
I think it'd be hilarious.
That would be pretty funny.
Yeah,
actually.
Fast and the Furious 10 is gonna be Transformers.
Yep.
Fast and the Furious.
Now, what if the title was like they have Fast and the Furious, and then they have like Roman numeral like 10X. And then after that,
Transformers.
It says Transformers here.
Yeah, do it.
There it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I really don't have much to say about this. It's like, I think the last Fast and Furious movie I saw was number 5. Yeah. So I'm like I'm a ways behind.
Well, it kind of reminded me, remember back when, it was a while ago, there was a rumor that 21 Jump Street was going to be Men in Black.
Yeah,
that could have been good.
Well, compared to like what we got,
that movie was not good.
Yeah, which I was. Yeah, so
anyway.
Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of like, I guess I'm just like still surprised that
they haven't made 9 movies.
They made 9 movies. I feel like
technically 10 if you count Hobbs and Shaw.
Yeah, so 10. So it's like I feel like, okay, like how much more can you milk this cash cow here?
Just keep going.
I mean,
just keep going.
Yeah. So, well, hey, I mean, whatever floats your boat, I guess.
Yep.
So, next up, Wonder Woman, 1984, comes out June 5th.
Yeah, I'm gonna touch.
Yeah.
I just want to know what happens to Steve Trevor, why he's back, how he's back, how that makes an impact in the DCEU.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we already talked about this in like one of our earlier shows and whatnot, but yeah, I mean, I'm not really super interested in this one. I mean, I'll probably see it anyway, just be a part of the conversation and whatnot.
I remember I didn't even see the first Wonder Woman in theaters. I saw it. I think I rented it.
Yeah, I think we actually watched it together, like
at my apartment.
Yeah, your apartment. Yeah. So we'll see. Next up is Ghostbusters Afterlife.
Yeah.
July 10th.
Looks fun.
Yeah, I mean, I probably will see it just because, I mean, just for the if it has a strong Stranger Things vibe,
Sure.
because chances are we're probably not getting a new season of Stranger Things
Unfortunately,
this year.
no.
So we'll probably this might have to be the thing that kind of holds me over a little bit.
Yeah.
So yeah. Then July 17th, The Tenet.
10-10.
Or as you like to say, 10-10.
Yeah.
Yes. So, I mean, I think this might be my most anticipated movie. I mean,
Just because it's shrouded in mystery right now, I think.
Well, that it's got Christopher Nolan's name.
I mean,
attached
I'm
to it.
excited for it.
Yeah.
I remember seeing the teaser, and I was like, this movie looks dope, and I have no idea what it's about.
Yeah, exactly. But
Like the teaser before the actual trailer dropped.
yeah, but you actually wanna
Yeah, you do, because it's like, okay, this is well shot, something's going on, I don't know what's going on, and it's Christopher Nolan.
Yep. I mean, yeah, sign me up. So, Bill and Ted Face the
Yes.
Music, August 21st.
I'm in.
Yeah,
I
no.
want to see it.
So, no, I mean, freaking Keanu's stock just keeps going up, man.
Yeah.
Like he's in everything.
He is, and he's going to keep being in everything.
Yes. So
If he's in Star Wars, I declare this decade
Keanu's
decade.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah.
Making a huge comeback.
Huge comeback. Yeah. So I mean, yeah, I will see it. I mean, Bill and Ted 1, both of them are great.
Yeah. I like 1 a lot. 2 I was afraid of when I was younger, so I didn't watch that
because
one.
of the Grim Reaper and all
Yeah.
that. I mean,
was
that
scary.
That movie is kind of heavy for a kids
Oh,
movie
yeah.
here. But yeah. So
We'll see.
yeah. Now this is one that probably not going to be a great movie, but I just put it on there just because it's just interesting that this is even happening.
Yeah.
Monster Hunter comes out September 4th.
Great game. Don't want to see the movie.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't think they could do a good job with it.
Well, it's just such a weird.
And especially who they cast as the lead.
Yeah, the same Mila Djokovic.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, and I think it is being made by the same team that did the Resident Evil movies here. So that probably
There's a lot you kind of have to establish to make this worthwhile, I think.
Well, and not to mention too, it's like they have so many video games that they could actually draw from to actually make a movie out of here.
Oh, yeah.
I think Monster Hunter is just like kind of a weird one to like really tap into.
Really cool, but I'm not excited about it right now.
I mean, if this movie is going to work, or at least like actually be enjoyable to watch, you got to do 2 things. You have to have really good CGI.
Yes.
And you also have to have really memorable, well choreographed action scenes.
Those are the biggest things.
Yeah. If you can give me that, then like, that might be one that actually will like get me interested in. If you don't have that, I'm out.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yep.
Agreed.
So moving on, we have Snake Eyes, which is a G.I. Joe movie based on the character Snake Eyes. Comes out October 16th.
Yeah. Thought they were done.
I thought so too. Yeah, because when did the one with the
G.I. Joe 2?
Yeah,
Yeah, it
the
was
Rock
so
come out.
weird too. That was a while ago. I would say that's like had to have been like 4 years ago at least.
Yeah. I mean,
But I remember seeing it and I was like, because they killed the main character from the first movie in like
yeah,
the first
Channing
scene.
Tatum, right?
Yeah, and I was like,
what?
Yeah. And then I was kind of like, I don't like this.
Yeah, I mean, well,
But Snake Eyes was probably the best part of those movies, in my opinion.
oh yeah, no, he's the coolest G.I. Joe character.
It could be a really cool martial arts movie.
Yeah, I mean, if you give me some dope ninja action, I'll probably touch. You know, I mean, I'm just really surprised that they are making another G.I. Joe movie when it seems like they have no idea.
They just want to sell toys.
Man,
That's what it is.
That's probably it, man.
That's the only reason we have a lot of stuff from our childhood.
Pretty much, yeah.
I mean,
and even nowadays,
Star Wars is a big toy seller. Power Rangers, yeah, it's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, I watched, this is a side note, for Power Rangers, I watched the Toys That Made Us on Netflix.
Oh, yeah, that Netflix documentary.
Dude, insane how much money they made from Power Ranger merchandise.
Billions.
Billions.
Yeah, I can see that.
So, anyway.
Yeah.
All right, next movie.
So we have The Eternals, November 6th.
Yeah.
So
First Marvel movie I don't care to see at all.
Yeah.
In the least bit.
Yeah, I'm kind of there with you, just because, I mean, for one, I don't really know much about the Eternals here, and
I don't either.
And
I guess that's how I felt about Guardians, though.
Yeah, but I mean, Guardians.
But at least the cast, I was like, this looks like it could be something.
Well, right, and I mean, like Guardians, like you probably never not heard of them, but they were very B-list here. Whereas like these guys, I feel like you're tapping into your C-list here,
for sure.
And not to mention like these guys, I guess, are supposed to be like gods.
Yeah, they're
essentially.
godlike. Yep.
Yeah, so I think that does kind of like potentially like take away like some elements of like I guess like if you're trying to interweave this with like the rest of the MCU,
yeah,
it like does take away like, oh yeah, we have like these like actual godlike people, basically involved in this here. So, I mean, it kind of seems like they just be OP compared to like, a lot.
So they're
gonna
have to be fighting other godlike characters basically in order for it to mean anything.
Right,
and
exactly.
I don't care about the cast except for what's his name? I don't even care about the guy that was in Game of Thrones. He was in Harold and Kumar, like the Indian guy. I can't remember his name.
But
he's pretty funny. He's in Big Bang Theory, I think.
The guy,
is he?
or you're talking about
No,
the guy who was in Silicon Valley?
I think so.
Yeah, I forget how you pronounce his name.
Yeah,
here,
he's
but
pretty funny though, so I'm guessing he's be kind of comic relief of it.
Probably, yeah.
Anyway, other than that, I'm kind of like, don't really care.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's gonna be different for one. I mean, yeah, I'm surprised they got Angelina Jolie attached to this here too.
To pay her a lot of money.
Yep, that's probably
a lot of money.
That's probably where the majority of the budget went.
Probably.
So, next up is Godzilla versus King Kong. Now, you haven't seen any of these new movies, have you?
I saw the first one they did of the new kind of series, I guess you call it.
So with
Taylor Kitchenson or whatever his name is. Is that his name?
Aaron Taylor Johnson.
Oh, Aaron Taylor. Yeah, I was thinking.
And then Bryan Cranston and all that.
Yeah, I saw that one, I think.
Yeah.
Did not see the new one with Eleven.
Yeah. So
the girl that plays 11. Millie Bobby Brown. I haven't seen that. I heard it's pretty decent though.
It's
fun, I guess.
So it is a very dumb movie in terms of like plot and story.
Sure.
But if all you want to see is just monsters kicking the crap out of each other, it's a good time.
You gotta throw Zords in for me in order for me to want it.
Fair enough.
So it's gotta be Power Rangers.
Yeah, but no, I'll probably see this just because I watched the original Godzilla versus King Kong. It's a very cheesy movie. It's hilarious if you go back and watch it.
Sure.
And my sister's a big Godzilla fan, so it'll probably be like something that we'll watch together.
I mean,
or something.
I might skip that last movie and just go see this one because Godzilla and King Kong seems cool.
It honestly does. I mean, you're taking like,
and that's an old movie. They're just kind of redoing it.
Essentially, yeah.
Sweet.
Yep. So, and then last movie on our list. So, Dune.
Yes.
Comes out December 18th. So, you haven't read the book, right?
No, but I hear it's great.
Yeah, I've heard nothing but good things about the book. My dad's a big fan of the book and all that, and apparently they tried to make.
I think they did make a movie.
They did make a movie. I think they did it like I want to say maybe the 80s or something like that, somewhere around there.
Sounds about right.
Sounds about right, but apparently did not do it justice. But this one might be the next big thing here.
Yeah.
You got like an A-list cast of characters here. You got Jason Momoa, I think, is playing the lead. You got
really
Oscar Isaac in it. You have
oh wow, I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah, Zendaya. Zendaya. Yeah.
And then Timothy Chalamet.
Who's that guy?
I don't know, but he's in a lot of. I see him all over YouTube.
Okay.
But I think he's in movies that girls think he's cute. I don't see it, girls, but yeah. Dave Bautista's in it.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see. I don't recognize some of the other people in it. But looks cool.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Yeah, no, I mean, obviously no trailers, nothing has come out for it really.
That's a lot of money to throw in there. Is it a Disney movie?
I don't think it's a Disney movie.
Okay.
I mean, I'd be really surprised if it was a Disney movie because I think some of the source material kind of lends itself to a more harsher PG-13 rating.
Yeah.
So, yeah. All right. So we're moving on from our movies to our TV. Now,
much shorter list
because here's the thing. I mean, there is quite a few new TV shows that are coming out.
Sure.
Now, a lot of those TV shows, we just
don't care about.
Yeah, we don't.
Don't.
We just don't have a whole lot of interest, and we don't really.
And
it would make a boring podcast if we tried to like talk about it.
Well, and I feel like TV shows are something that you select more carefully than movies because you have to be more invested, so much time.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah.
So in terms of new TV shows, let's start it off with Falcon and Winter Soldier, which is slated to come out in fall.
Yep.
Yeah.
So with that, that's what I'm kind of curious about is like, so if WandaVision's coming out in 2020 as well, when are they going to come right off one after the other?
You know, that WandaVision announcement just leaves me with more questions than answers.
It's so weird.
Yeah,
but I'm super stoked. For Falcon Winter Soldier, and when we wrote this before we got the news of WandaVision, this was going to be our first look at the Marvel Disney Plus and could they thrive there? Like, this is our first introduction to not just the movies or movie versions of characters coming to a smaller screen.
Yeah,
you know, how's it going to look? Is the budget going to be there? What kind of stories we're going to get? How many episodes? I'm guessing they're going to go kind of with a format similar to Mandalorian, where it's going to be 8 episodes to 10 episodes.
Probably, yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited for this series a lot because I'm a huge fan of the Winter Soldier. That's my favorite Marvel movie, really. I think.
Yeah.
And I like the actor who plays Falcon. I think he does great. So I think this could be a really good combo between the two of them.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I mean, I think when we had that Phase 4 announcement that happened over the summer, this was like the only thing that really got me excited here was the fact that, you know, we're going to have Falcon and Bucky essentially be, you know, have their own show, their own adventures and all that. And apparently like the villain from Civil War, Zemo, he's going to be the villain of the show here.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it. I think it's probably going to be like the main reason why I picked up Disney Plus here was probably for this show.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So,
sweet.
All right.
And so obviously we're getting Mandalorian.
Yeah, in the fall,
which we're going to be stoked about anyway. We don't have to talk about that too much.
Yep. So, next up is Snowpiercer. So, have you seen this movie?
No, it's with
Chris Evans.
Chris Evans, yeah.
Yeah. So, it's actually a pretty decent movie. It's kind of weird because it's basically kind of like The Raid, except it's on a train, like a futuristic train, and they're working their way up to the front.
Okay.
So, I think it's on Netflix if you're ever curious of watching it here. But that being said, like the movie, this show apparently is supposed to be taking place like before the movie, so it's going to go into like some of the things that were probably mentioned in the movie, like, you know, past rebellions and stuff like that. So no, looks like it'll probably be good. So yeah, looking forward to seeing what's up.
Sweet.
Yeah. And then Clone Wars coming out February on Disney Plus, season 7.
Yep. Can't wait for it. Just where they're going to go with the story arc, how it's going to tie into Mandalorian, the Mandalorian lore, and just kind of support plot points within the Mandalorian show I'm hoping for. The animation looks great. It looks like they kind of tiered up a little bit, like it looks a little bit crisper, a little bit better. It already looked amazing before, but I'm just excited for this new season a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't really gotten into Clone Wars. I mean, I've definitely watched like I think the first couple episodes and watched the Darth Maul stuff, but yeah, I mean, no, I've heard nothing but good things about the the other seasons and all that. So I might start binging and seeing, like, you know, whether or not I want to get into season 7. So we'll see.
Yeah, check it out.
Yeah. So next up is WandaVision.
Yeah.
So
don't really care about too much about it. I mean, I'll watch it, but
yeah,
I don't know.
Well, I mean, especially considering how the Marvel shows are going to be essentially required reading for
pretty much for the
next batch of movies here. Yeah. So that being said, I mean, so it's supposed to be like a sitcom. Which
who knows what that means?
Exactly. I mean, haven't seen a trailer yet. Haven't seen anything that really like grabs my attention or interests me from this.
Yeah, me either.
So, next up is Wheel of Time.
Yeah. So I threw this in there. So Wheel of Time is a huge fantasy book series.
Oh yeah, I think I've heard of that.
And I've wanted to check it out. It's just there's a lot of investment that goes into it because it's a 10-book series and it has 2 prequel books, so it's a 12-book series basically. And they're not little books. They're pretty thick boys.
Okay.
And I've heard good things from so many people on the internet, friends that have read the series and read it quick because of the content of it. And so basically it takes place in the main character can basically time travel.
Okay.
And there's a lot of political themes within it, which makes for any kind of good drama,
Sure, yeah.
He's kind of this special chosen one kind of figure. Mm-hmm. A lot of the leaders of the past and present, so it takes place. Let me back up. It takes place in the far distant past and the far distant future.
Oh, interesting.
Because he kind of hops between them.
Gotcha.
And where women are predominantly the leaders because they're the only one who have been able to basically use the magic system in this book.
Okay.
Because I think it causes men to kind of go insane.
Gotcha.
Because they don't know how to balance it. Anyway, the series I hear is really, really good. It could be the next big thing. They started production in September. They already have their cast. They're starting filming, and so they haven't for sure said they're coming out next year. But with them filming in September, I think that it leads them to be slated for next fall potentially.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's going to be on Amazon.
Okay, interesting.
So, yeah, it looks like it's going to be good.
Yeah. So now are the books? Are they more like who are they geared towards? Are they geared more towards the adults?
Yeah,
young
adults.
Okay.
Yeah, adults and young adults. It's a little bit probably more wordy than like a YA novel would be.
Okay.
I read a lot of both. Like, I don't think there's anything wrong with young adult fiction, but
sure.
This is probably more geared toward the adults. Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. So.
Yeah. So we're gonna move into books. I picked 2. That's really all I picked. I'm a big fantasy guy, and so there's a lot of books coming out in that vein that I'm going to check out. But 2 that really stood out to me were Hunger Games are getting a prequel.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting.
It's called Songbirds and Snakes. I've never read the original series, but I heard great things about them when they were out. Mm-hmm. This is definitely YA. This is young adult fiction. Mm-hmm. I remember them being huge. People were pining over these books.
Well, yeah, it was probably the next big popular thing
after Harry
Potter.
Yeah, one of them for sure. And it seems very odd because we're probably about 10 years out.
Yeah.
That is getting a prequel now, and the implications of that for the big screen too. I'm guessing they're going to go back and probably make a prequel book or a prequel movie eventually.
Yeah.
But I think it's like it seems just a little too late for that dystopian kind of genre. Like, we're kind of moved on from that. Like, we had so many movies about that, so many books about that, and then it kind of faded. Like, it kind of there's still dystopian like themes, but it's not necessarily the focal point of like some of these new stories coming out that are fantasy.
Yeah, no, I think yeah, like, you look at like how many books and movies have tried to like capitalize on the Hunger Games success, like Divergent. I think that one with Jeff Bridges in it, I think it's called The Giver or something like that.
Yeah, and that's an old book.
Yeah, Ender's Game, I think, was one of them.
Also an old book, yeah.
Yeah, so, yeah, no, it's, I think we've definitely probably like peaked at the whole YA, like, adaptation of movies and stuff like that, and...
this could definitely generate buzz to get like a new generation of people into these books, potentially.
Potentially.
If this book is like a really, like a banger, basically.
Yeah, potentially. We'll see.
And then the next book I have, it's not titled yet. It's the Stormlight Archive, book number 4 by Brandon Sanderson. Way of the Kings is on my must-read list for 2020. That's the first book in the Stormlight Archive series.
Fantasy series?
Yeah, it's a fantasy series.
Okay.
Brandon Sanderson is a great writer. I started reading his Mistborn trilogy recently.
Okay.
Which is basically about a bunch of metal benders.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the magic system's really well thought out. Like I was thinking, said metal benders for those of you who know Avatar the series. Toph, the metal bender. So basically, they're able to manipulate different metals in that book for their magic system. I haven't gotten too far into it. I'm just a few chapters as I'm reading another book coinciding with it, which I'm kind of pacing that book. I love it, but I started reading the other book a little bit before it. And I still really want to read this one, and my other book's huge, so I'm trying to like balance it. But Brandon Sanderson's an awesome author, and I really encourage anyone who, maybe you like fantasy or science fiction, or if you're liking, like, I mean, really Marvel is fantasy. Like any of those things, you would typically find powers and magic and stuff like that. It's considered fantasy.
Yeah.
With a little bit of science fiction obviously thrown in there.
Sure, yeah.
But I think that this series will probably get adapted at some point.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens, but I'm excited for those 2 books. And that's about all I have for books. I mean, I know there's a lot more coming out, but that's it for our looking at 2020 and just kind of what we're excited for. We greatly appreciate you guys checking this podcast out and listening. Make sure you share it with some friends. You can check us out on social media at Your Herd's Nerds, on Twitter, YouTube, You Heard Nerds, or You Heard with Nerds, and also our Facebook, which is You Heard with Nerds. You can also support us directly on our Patreon, patreon.com/withnerds, and don't forget to check out next week's episode for our weekly show. And yeah, just have an awesome week, and remember, everyone's a nerd about something.
Everybody.